Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi. Okay, so this little video is about how gentrification per se, but the idea of water rights and development affects the watershed in Utah, and how certain lawmakers, like this fella here, right, Mike Noel, this guy, he's been on the bandwagon about development, capitalization, right, over water, over uh, things that human beings need to survive, like good, clean water, right? So here, this is Salt Lake Tribune. It's an article about this particular dated February 13th, 2018. We used to have this guy named Rocky Anderson, right? And Rocky Anderson, he was a Democratic mayor of Salt Lake. He raised a big stink. I think he even ran for president. And meanwhile, there was this old lawsuit about the wetlands, about about a highway project up north that was threatening the wetlands, and it went through. It's a fairly used highway. I think it's called the Legacy Highway, ripping right through wetlands, water supply aspects of Utah. And so basically, here's this is an article to everything in the bottom for you guys to check out. So this particular fella has gone out of his way to make certain that certain development occurs and that growth continues, right? Anyway, so this guy is out of one of the more um, rural parts of Utah, but he's part of the Utah House. He's part of the Senate committee, or the House of Representatives of Utah, and he has a particular clout, right? This Mike Noel guy, he's got a particular clout in that he gets to decide which bills actually hit the floor and which ones just don't even come across on the floor. Okay, so now this is alarming, right? Because there is this email, right, back and forth here. There's some emails that somebody caught on, regardless of our watershed, regardless of the damages to public water, right? Here's some email back and forth from 2014. I'm not going to scroll through this particularly, but I found this, and basically it says the water is there. The stored pool of water can meet your Dunyan water needs. Okay, so and what is Dunyan, right? And Dunyan is a. Let me go here to Dunyan. Right, here's Dunyan. Now Dunyan is a property, right, in Salt Lake City. It's a property that is very expensive here, right? Now, what does that look like? Let's see. Let me see if I can find this for you. Dunyan is down here. Now, this is a map of the Salt Lake area, right? Now, basically, what's being proposed, right, is that up in these canyons, this area here is the Greater Wasatch Front, right? It's this is Salt Lake City right here, and what's happening? Just to kind of back out here a little bit more, right? Okay, so here's the Greater Salt Lake area. This is the top. These are the top of the mountains, right? The summits of the mountains, and this water flow comes down here. This is Big Cottonwood right here. This is Little Cottonwood right here. Here's some reservoirs that are on the other side of the summit of the mountain range, right, which are back here. There's development that's going on right up here at the top of these mountains for years now, right? And the watershed scientists are suffering a shitload because this development up here was never supposed to happen, right? Now, and we know this because way back when this dam, right, was this article was talked about, a dam that was recommended for this area up these canyons in 1928. Now, this never happened, right? This dam never happened, not at all, right? And yet development is still continuing up in these canyons, right? It's still continuing up in these canyons. The lots were sold as dry lots, right? And so they're sold as dry lots. Now, here's a particular municipality. This is Olympus Cove. These guys are wanting to, that whoever's running the district in this particular area is actually, I believe, lobbying for for certain businesses to get like, okay, Great Western Supply. I believe that these guys run, and I'm not super certain, but they're a plumbing and mechanical service contractor right here, right? And so, and their mention right here, Olympus Cove, Argenia, Dunyan, and Great Western, right? There are transactions that they're talking about that could have been, right, this particular deal, right? There's this particular deal going on, right, where these guys are basically negotiating, right, from 2014. These guys are negotiating slowly and surely, basically, right here, as you can see, these speculators have state employees like John Bennett, who formerly headed the Quality Growth Commission and Director and Department of Natural Resources, Mike Styler, who oversees water rights, helping their efforts, either opening political doors by beginning inquiries. HB 135 initially started as an items before the Quality Growth Commission, and it's this kind of axis of how these bills play into the weakening of watershed protections. Right now, okay, so this bill already passed. HB 36 is not even on the table anymore. How do we know that? Well, let's take a look. 136 is not bills on the agenda. It's nowhere to be found here. It's already passed. We're going down here to the Utah State Legislature. This is the bill that they're worrying about right here, guys. HJR015, proposed to amend Utah Constitution Municipal Water Amendment. Right? And then let's go ahead and just take a gander at that particular bill. Okay, now it's sponsored by this. I don't know why this asks. And sorry, buddy. I think you're a real piece of work, right, Mr. Stratton, Mr. Keven Stratton. I think this guy should be considered to be voted out of office. Here's the drafting attorney. Okay, not saying anything about that. But okay, so this guy is going to do this, and all this is saying, right, and this is how I understand it, right? They're trying to lease the water at the top of the canyons, right? Right here, this is the big change right here. No municipality, no municipal corporation, right here, shall directly or indirectly lease, sell, alien, or dispose of any waterworks rights or sources of water supply, and are hereafter to be owned or controlled. I don't know how to slow myself down on this, guys, and maybe I should, because I'm kind of rambling. Basically, it's this. This is the big change right here. Scratching out the word lease. And now my understanding of what's going on, right, my particular understanding of what's going on with this bill is that their lease, so that these developers, right, up here, like here, this is an area that they're talking about. This is up Big Cottonwood Canyon. It's a solitude. It's beautiful. You can see in the background there's ski resorts. You can see all of this stuff, right? It's beautiful land, and here's these condos and area. They want to expand even more up into this area, right? They want to be able to hire out people that can move water down, even though it's dry land. There's no other dams up there, so they want to hire people to pump water up. But during their development, they're trying to cut out the word lease in the bill so that the developments can they can lease the water out, take it away the rights from the city, and then they can dump their construction refuge into one of the main water supply of the whole Salt Lake Valley, right? That's what's going on. Right? They're basically saying, look, we're just going to scratch out that word lease. Then these construction guys can develop on dry land, right, and dump all of this into the watershed, the complete watershed for the main metropolitan of Salt Lake City gets the debris from these guys simply for money, simply because way back when, in 1928, they didn't build a dam up there, right? They didn't construct it, and now they're trying to do a little workaround, and they know, right? They know, and this has been going back and forth in law for several years now, that the building and the expansion of lands and the sales of these lands up there for building is it. They knew going into it that it was dry property. They knew it, right? That's a gift around. They're paying off some people. They're getting some people in order. They're getting all their lawyers lined up so that they can basically dump into the watershed of the Wasatch Front. It's bullshit. It's bullshit is what it is. Just saying. Okay, so that being said, that's kind of what's going on with that. And now the problem here is this. This is the new one that's on the chopping blocks. It's not there yet, right? The chief sponsor, this ass, right, obviously bought out. Look at the guy. Look at the guy. He's sold out. He's bought off. He's up there. I don't know who the guy is, right? But here he is. He's putting it forward. He's going to scratch out the word lease right there. He's going to allow he's going to basically the 136, the bill that was before it, strips away, right? It strips away. It takes state power and it gives it to the feds to control land, right? You guys remember when Bill Clinton basically said, hey, all of this property in Utah, it's protected property. Well, Trump then diminishes that, and then now they're finding a loophole like, hey, now we can move power back up, I believe, to the feds, and then that'll open this like loophole. They're finding a particular legal loophole where they can, let's just shovel this bill through before the committee, right? And so why is this an issue, right? Well, here's basically what's going on. Look. Okay, now this is a back and forth, and I took out some of this, right? But, well, it only took Representative Norfolk days to flip the House Natural Resource Committee, right? In case you guys didn't know, let's go back here. I need to slow down. I'm all over the map. This fella, Noel, the Committee on Natural Resources, this particular guy, Paul Raleigh, he's doing a great job, right? Because he's basically saying, look, this guy has a history now of basically saying water is lesser than development, right? Let's not slow down development. Let's not say, hey, we don't have enough shit, move to someplace else. Let's not expand outward. It's no. Let's continue the growth of Salt Lake beyond its limitations. And so what goes first? Water safety. Who's it backed by? This guy, Mike Noel. That's who it's backed by, right? Meanwhile, check this out, guys. This is brand new from March. The Utah ends up putting through this dumb how to rap bill.
This is a story
this is really how a bunch of assholes can get together and ruin your watershed. Okay, so let's get to it.
In the legislator's mind, an idea is raised.
In the law book is where they spend most of their day.
Drafting out, maxing out, hardening, and all introducing bills inside of House chambers. More than a couple of guys start reviewing.
Okay, that's the guy. And more than a couple of guys we start reviewing. Okay.
Are they making changes in committee on the Hill? They may get in one little fight, but it's just because they care.
They say we're moving this bill back to the floor and we'll argue it there. Speaker Hughes whistles for a vote and the answer is clear.
And the bill passes and goes over the Senate to hear.
If it passes the Senate, then the bill's probably fair.
You thought it was law, but it's just not quite there.
It's got to go to the governor.
And if it's good, Herbert might even be signing it later.
Herbert being the governor.
It's finally there, sitting as law, ready to be declared.
Okay, so that's their little rap video, right? Why are they putting it out? Maybe it's an educational thing. Maybe it's a decoy. Maybe they're doing this transaction, this new slew of bills, right? They're going to put this out, kind of a now you see me, now you don't routine, right? So that this agenda right over here, the bills assigned to this particular committee, are people are paying more attention to their videos while they can propose this amendment to the watershed right here. Maybe that's why it's out. Who knows? I don't think it's that nefarious or malicious. But who knows, right? Anyway, and so if you guys want to go down and read what they're doing with this particular bill, it's actually not very long. And it's still in the House. We don't even want it to get to Senate. We don't even want it. I don't even want it to get to the governor. This idea that people that buy property, because they're big money people, they got a lot of money, lot of clout. They can pay a lot of attorneys. They can grease hands with a lot of people to make them happy. But then who gets the fallout? Well, our taps do. Our kids, the next generation, right, suffers the consequences of the law of the previous generation. Right? It does. Right? It's suffering the laws right now. Right? Our generation is suffering the laws of the previous generation. So it's kind of like Romney taking over in kind of like Trump said, like one of the things I think he said that I thought during his campaign that I would agree with was that he should limit terms of senators, right? But I think he's going to hush hush on that because he's going to get Romney to come in and pick up where what's his name? This other our Utah's current senator, Orrin Hatch. Orrin Hatch has done some very minute good and a shitload of bad, I believe, right? And so it's a continuation of Orrin Hatch with Romney in this great state. But as you guys can see, and I'm not saying this is an LDS thing, even though most LDS people are conservative. This is a conservative thing, but it's also a money thing. It's a money thing, it's a power thing, it's a leverage thing, and it's a policy thing. And this policy is bad policy. This Stratton, this bill sponsor, he's obvious. I believe, I'm just speculating. I believe he's been greased up. I believe he's been paid off. He's obviously putting it there because he wants to see developments up the canyon. I'm sorry, stop selling the land up there. Stop selling it to residences. Stop trying to make a shopping mall up our canyons. It's a 2-lane road up these canyons, folks. It's so tiny. It is so tiny. It's awful. It's awful how they're trying to squeeze so much out of land that can't handle it, right? So okay, what did I bring this page up for? Salt Lake Tribune, after Utah Lake related. Got to take a call. Okay. Hello.
May I speak with Michael?
Yeah, this is Mike.
Hello, Michael. This is Nanda with the Public Defender's Office returning your phone call.
Yeah.
Dan Alicia has been assigned to your case. Your next court appearance is the 8th after you're there. Okay?
Well, that's interesting to know that I should be there. And now, who has been assigned to my case?
Daniel Labrisha. Labrisha.
Okay. Daniel
Labrisha.
LIRS.
No,
LAV.
RI.
SHA. Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel Labrisha.
Okay, and that's at 9 a.m. Now, who and is this Nandel that I'm talking to?
Yeah, this is me.
Now Nandel, he's been assigned to my case. Now that means that since you got that information, that means my motion to dismiss. Not my motion to dismiss.
No, it means that we are on the case to observe the charges.
You're on the case to what?
Now, if you filed a motion to dismiss, that was before we got on it, and so you just got on the case. So whatever you submitted will be sent to us within the next 3 working days.
Right. Okay. So what I'm wondering.
We don't have it yet because we just entered on the case.
Right. Okay. So, and I'm just mentioning this to you, Nandel, because I've been down there. Like this whole thing to me is awful, right? And I'm not going for reduced charges. I'm going for no charges. Just letting you know. Yeah. So so what I'm doing,
that you will discuss with Mr. Labrisha.
What now? Do you have his number? Do you have his direct line? Is there any way to get in contact with this fella?
Yeah, it's this number right now. You know, this number at extension 1652.
1652. Okay, and he's the defending attorney. I'm suggesting this because, and I'll talk to him about it. But since they receive that, he'll have accesses to my motions to dismiss. I'd want him to review those prior to my coming down there.
Whatever was submitted to the DA or the court, we'll get a copy of all that. Okay.
I
Like I said, it takes a few days for us to get that.
I also. Right. Okay, it'll take a few days. They'll probably have to send that over. I don't know how you got the paperwork so quickly to be a public defender. Right.
Well, as soon as I got your application, I entered.
Okay.
It takes a day. It takes a day to process into the system.
Okay.
So we'll probably the system will probably show us first thing on Monday morning.
Okay.
And after that, it takes a few days for us to get the report. Okay. And that's when Mr. Labrisha will want to rock and roll with you. Okay. And so what's more than likely what's going to happen is on the first court date, we're just going to ask for continuous because you need time to sit down and talk to Mr. Labrisha about your.
That's not happening. This isn't happening. Right. I've been down to your area until you see the motions to dismiss. And I don't know if you're his manager. I don't know if you're Daniel's manager.
The one you're going to have to talk to is the attorney.
Right.
I'm the one that just signed the attorney and got us on board.
So you're not even an attorney yourself.
No. I'm the one that gets the attorneys on board on cases.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm more than happy to talk to Daniel, especially.
Okay.
I mean,
he's out of the office today.
Okay.
He'll be back. Yeah, he'll be back on Monday.
Monday in the morning. Monday around 9ish, 10ish, maybe.
Yeah.
There. Hopefully, you guys get the paperwork by then on all the motions. I also asked for a discovery on body cam of the officer.
Like I said, it'll take a few days for us to get that.
Right.
We'll get it.
Okay. Hey, Randall. Thanks for the phone call.
What the is 1652.
1652. Same number.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, thanks so much.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Phew. All right. Oh, like an outlaw. Okay, back to where I was. Thank God I got that recorded. Oh, after Utah-related dog deaths, expert recommend protocol for toxic algae, threat to water. Almost half of Utah's waterways, including several drinking, are at risk. Developing poisonous algal blooms, scientists warn, right? Almost a year after toxic algae at Utah Lake killing 2 dogs, water quality managers have developed dealing with this potentially deadly blooms. Right? Now, the reason I bring this up is because there's a battle. There's a battle for water. There's a battle for resources that's going to continue all over this planet, especially in the West, right? It's disgusting. Like the water resource management people, they were not even allowing dogs to run in the water up in the canyons. That's how clean it was, right? A whole keep it pure campaign, right? We don't even want you walking your dogs through the water. I don't know whether or not they could even go lap out of the river. I thought it was absurd when I first heard it. Like, why not? It's a dog. There's deer that run through there. And they said, well, dogs have a different sort of bacteria. People let their dogs shit in the water, run in the water, and that they didn't want to have to implement more chemicals to filter the water. So they're like, look, we're just trying to keep our watershed for our people pure. Now what's happening is they're putting in this legislation, right? They're putting in this legislation that now allows corporations to dump vast quantity, to lease the water rights out. So they're going to find a loophole. They're going to claim they now, as owners of the land, now have some sort of easement to the water rights, right? Up through this will allow the Fed to claim it, and then the Fed says that has some sort of new openness to it, and so now they'll claim a right to the water, and then that they can say we're basically they're going to say we're going to take control away from the states, right, away from the municipality to control the watershed, right? People that are educated, people that get degrees in watershed management, on purification, on anything having to do with water, right? And this is a resource. These people are in this field, and what they're doing is they're saying, look, we're going to strip the controls of municipalities' water supply from these people in these municipalities that already have these people in place. We're going to, that's what the HB Bill 36 was that Noel put through, right? That's already passed the committee. It's going to Senate. It's going to go to the governor's office, right? So that's a little loophole there. Then they scratch out the word lease on this new 15 bill, right? They're just going to scratch that out. And then that will allow this loophole in the federal government law to allow whoever now owns this land that bought it dry, knowing that it was dry, right? It'll allow them to say, we have a right to it. This is my presumption, right? Then we're going to water, which means we'll lease it out to a company or we'll lease it out to the project, and then that will allow them to dump their construction chemicals and refuge or whatever junk they want indefinitely on an ongoing leasing basis into the whole watershed of the Wasatch Front. That's what the problem is. That's why I'm making this video. That's what's going on, right? So I can't remember why I pulled up this particular article on the dogs, other than it was ironic because some other thing that's happening in the next valley over has algae built up in the water and that dogs can't swim in it or it's killing them, which means it would kill people, right? And so with that being said, right, this guy's a problem. This guy's a huge problem. I hope he gets voted out. Vote this Mike Noel out. He shouldn't even have this committee powers. It's absolutely absurd. I wish this guy was out. This guy that's pushing this recent bill, this fella, him out. Vote this guy out. I'll figure out where he is. Put a link in the bottom. This Stratton, Keven Stratton rep. Bad news for the U.S., man, or bad news for Utah, right? He's bought out, man. He's just being greased up here. He's not looking out for the well-being of the public, not whatsoever. He's just looking out for expansion, right? He's just looking to help people expand. It's it's really upsetting. It's really upsetting. Well, let's see what we got. So let them do their dumb little rap. Let them have their way there. I imagine that they're talking about this particular area down here in the valley. Yeah, as you can see, right, the water supply is from these canyons. It is from these canyons in Salt Lake, right? And look, you didn't get your dam way back when, for whatever reason. But you guys can't make up for it by damaging our water now just because you guys like the land. You want to have a nice view to piss off your porch because you got a fuckload of money. And so the people up in the mountains, the kings in the mountaintops, get to piss in the water of the plebes down here. Is that what this is? Is that what's up, Herbert? Governor of Utah? You're going to allow that? You're going to allow that? HJR015 proposal as an amendment to municipal water amendment. You're going to let that pass? Herbert, you're going to let that pass? Then I want you out, right? I want you out too, right? So this is a call. Anybody that knows the people that I mentioned out of office, get them out. Let's flip this over. Let's not let it go to the Senate. Let's definitely not get to the governor. The governor has too much stuff boggled in his head. People are not looking out for the safety of what's going on in Utah. That's all I'm going to say on this video. Thank you for your time and for listening and for appreciating my badass beard cut. H2O. Yo.